We see that Bradoock chooses Antiga Shipyards for map number 2. Now, Bradoock, he's not bad in TVT. I want to emphasize this. He did lose to Cass at the Take TV Invitational, but he also took a win off Straylock. So he's capable of being these really good Terrans. But then PuMa is PuMa. He's 64%. It's his worst matchup statistically, and he did get knocked out of Iron Squid by like MMA, and he's been losing to Pold, and he lost to Rain at the Tournament Champions. But in general, this is one of the top Terrans that people look to, especially when it comes to NASL.
PuMa just is at home at the NASL. Unfortunately, he hasn't had all that great results in things like the GSL. I guess DreamHack he's been pretty well. He's done pretty well. he's done pretty well. But I don't know, PuMa, he just loves it over here at the NASL, and we're glad to have him. He's starting it out pretty different from last game. He is going for gas first, whereas Bradoock looks to be doing a 14... Sorry. Bradoock is doing a 14, 15, or 16 command center.
Let's go. Eventually, we'll be able to phase that out completely.
We'll get it, man. Together.
So, yeah.
Together.
We'll make it. Bradoock, he's, wow, fast command center. Now, Antiga Shipyards, a map that one-base tech is actually pretty good in the scope of build orders in TVT. I know when I was watching you play, Andre, especially when you were on ladder, you opened up a lot of one-base tech on Antiga Shipyards. How does command center first fare against, especially what PuMa's doing, gas first before barracks?
Okay, so it's a little interesting. It's good and it's bad. There's a lot of things that PuMa and Bradoock can do from this. I want to mention PuMa first. Normally when PuMa opens up something like this, you go into a cloakless Banshee. That's just the obvious thing that you'll always go. Cloakless Banshee is okay against any fast expansion type of build like this. It really depends on micro. Now, I'm not sure how good PuMa's micro is when he does have kind of higher ping. I wouldn't say like super, super bad, but he has higher ping. Not only that, there's very easy ways for Bradoock to be able to blind counter this build. Normally when you do a command center first build like this, you get your engineering bay at 6 minutes no matter what. You just get that because your advantage is in your double mules. You want to get a ton of marines out, and you have that expendable minerals. So it's very easy to hard counter this build and have an economic advantage. It's really going to come down to how risky does Bradoock want to play. Does he get that engineering bay or does he not? How many barracks does he start off with? How fast does he want to tech? Because this build is about when I tech. If I'm teching really fast, then I'm basically saying there's no early game pressure. I'm going to look to take an advantage overall with the development of my buildings pretty early. If he does the opposite and plays it really safe, then I think he will be able to defend against this pretty efficiently. But look at that double refinery and only 2 barracks. This will actually be kind of tough for Bradoock to stop this.
Especially because PuMa got the scout in.
Yeah.
He has the SCV that saw everything, and there's nothing left uncovered for our orange Terran. Now, PuMa, back at home, just like you were saying, getting that Banshee, but he is going for Cloak to start things off.
All right, he did get the second refinery.
Yeah.
So
Pretty
that
delayed.
obviously gives him the ability to get Cloak and a Banshee. How will this do? Well, there it is. Oh, wow, he gets it really early. 5 minutes and 40 seconds is engineering bay. Now, normally, the Banshee comes out and it hits at around 7 minutes. This is slightly faster. That's if you go for a barracks first. This is, of course, refinery before barracks, so this will hit a little bit before 7 minutes, probably 6:30, 6:45-ish. But him getting that 20 seconds faster, it will enable him to get the missile turret.
Now, we have an interesting situation arising here.
Really
a
weird.
plot twist, if you will, Andre. Factory floats to the low ground for PuMa, and he has a tech lab, and he's researching nothing, actually. I thought he was researching something.
He doesn't have the gas to yet.
Yeah, the light was on the tech lab, and I was like looking at the production tab and looking back, and I was like, wait, there's Cloak on the thread? I'm like, no. But he has that, and he can transition to Marine Tank Banshee, which is, okay, he has a tank queued up. And so he doesn't even want to try to go for damage with the Banshee and try to get an economic advantage through constant pressure and harass. And he's going to just go for a huge one-base play. Interesting.
I like this from PuMa. I think overall it's theoretically correct, but here we go. The Banshee is going to start up here. It's actually very hard to get a huge army and juggle with all the harass, get turrets, because it affects you pretty dramatically. But, ooh, the Banshee!
Oh, wow.
Wow, 8 hit points left. There are no turrets back here, so it can still do amazing amounts of damage.
Ooh, nice. Targeting on the SCV that was trying to build the factory, so delaying the tech even further. Another scan and a whiff by Bradoock. That stings. Although he does have two orbital commands, excuse me, and he does have another scan available. PuMa knows this, so he's trying to be very delicate. His Banshee energy is also about to run out. He did see Combat Shield finish on top of that, so PuMa has lots of good information and intel for his next push.
Frodan, that Banshee gave him not only 7 kills, but 540 minerals more. That's a really big advantage when you're doing some sort of one base. Every single mineral counts. So for his opponent to, for Bradoock to lose that much, I mean, he is hurting. I don't know if he can come back into this as PuMa is starting up here. He already has siege mode underway, 40 seconds away. Bradoock doesn't have stim anywhere near, but he does have that +1. Now, this +1 actually accounts for a lot of damage. We talk about it time and time again. He will be able to kill the Marine Force from PuMa really easily. It's going to be whether or not he identifies this bunker is going to be placed. The bunker is actually pretty key in defending, or excuse me, doing a lot of damage against this. And ooh, another scan goes down, and that scan inevitably shows the bunker. Oh my god. Wow. We might have this engagement right here.
No, that's not where PuMa wants to do. In fact, he's losing control of his Banshee. Flies into a turret. A great trap placed by Bradoock on the turret, making sure that PuMa was not able to escape. Oh, Bradoock. He is scanned here by PuMa. PuMa trying to advance forward with his siege tanks. He doesn't have the Marine advantage. Keep in mind, Bradoock has +1 and combat shields, giving his Marines much more longevity in battles. PuMa, for now, trying to still push his way up, but it's considerably weaker without his Banshees.
All Bradoock wants to do right now is wait for that stim. If he can just buy 50 more seconds, he's saying to himself, I'm going to be in a great position. I can just completely flank this out, do a ton of damage, use my SCVs, etc. Look at this. He's actually just evacuating his natural. I don't mind that either. It's actually up. Nope. It's a better move than what I said.
Oh, he gets a couple medevacs out as well. That could play a huge factor. You can see immediately loading up.
There it is.
These tanks are unprotected, and PuMa trying to get into position. Now, Bradoock, the biggest thing is that he can set up a flank. I was about to say fluke. He can set up a flank and really get PuMa out of position where he's most vulnerable, especially where the tanks are unprotected. PuMa will snipe this starport. Now, when will Bradoock choose to move out?
Oh, it might be coming soon. Now, 4 siege tanks are here. That helps out so much and really mitigates the advantage, the upgrade advantage that Bradoock has. Bradoock has ran out of, production for his medevacs, but I like what he's doing, just constantly massing up in a ton of units, cutting the supply, making sure no further reinforcements can come out of here, and he's just going to try to completely enclose and envelop his opponent's army in a huge mass of Marines.
And Bradoock has a massive stim trying to go from 2 different directions. The Marines in the back are being focused, and Bradoock's Marines in the front trying to get everything else in surface area, but PuMa seems like he will clean up most of these Marines. Bradoock was not able really to do anything. His medevacs were out of position as well. One does get sniped. And at the end, PuMa's the one who comes out with the supply lead despite Bradoock picking the position he wanted.
Lights are closing out for Bradoock at this point. 44 supply to 62. PuMa just has a massive advantage with that positioning, the siege tank positioning. Not only that, Bradoock, where does he go from here? He doesn't really have a lot of options. He is putting his expansion in the top right-hand corner, and he's ferrying a couple of SCVs over here. I like what he's doing here, but, I mean, PuMa's position is just... It's almost like it's an insurmountable win.
And Bradoock has accumulated much gas, but he hasn't been able to use it because the factory's been inactive. The starport was not pumping double medevacs out. And you can see that he's starting to accrue way too much, would have much better served if he was putting it back on minerals. But we see that he doesn't really worry about that right now because the army of PuMa is knocking on the door very forcibly. One barracks with reactor does drop, another under heavy siege. Bradoock may just try to go for one strong attempt to defend everything, but PuMa, he's got 2 siege tanks very well protected here.
This is going to be lights out, though. I don't see any way Bradoock can actually come back from this. He does have +1/1, so he has that extra armor to deal with, but still he doesn't have the production anymore. All of his barracks are eliminated. You can see the SCVs. Oh my god, he's just going to get out. He's going to ferry everything over. Look at this, taking the top right-hand corner, putting down another command center, additional barracks. He's going to try to ferry everything as fast as possible.
And we see Bradoock trying to...
Oh my god, this is actually really intelligent, Frodan.
He's starting his own new migration,
I love this. I think this is really successful. Because look at him. He actually has enough SCVs over here to remax everything. PuMa doesn't have another command center, and he's killing a siege tank. Wow. Oh my god.
This is really cool, yeah.
Bradoock is like a mastermind, man.
This is the great escape to the Banshees flying straight into the turrets. Man, PuMa has to be really careful with that control, and keep in mind these Marines with medevacs have almost every single upgrade advantage over PuMa, taking a huge volley, but it doesn't even really matter. Bradoock cleaning up units is actually good for him at this point if he can just keep up production and make sure that this Banshee does not do too much damage, but it's got lots of energy loaded left. PuMa's careful though. Oh, it takes one huge swipe from that turret, but still, PuMa has free reign over these SUVs.
I cannot believe I'm saying this. I think Bradoock has an advantage here. I cannot believe I'm saying this. He has 3 command centers, so much energy in all of these, a ton of production. Look at how many barracks he has. He has 3, actually just 5. But with that 1-1, PuMa has no upgrades here. Now these 2 Banshees actually can do a ton of damage. Oh my god, they're going to be focused down.
He snipes both of them.
Bradoock, he's going to come back into this. I think he just won here.
Well, it depends because PuMa is not careful with his last Banshee. Oh my goodness. And Bradoock has an upgrade advantage on every single front of Marines. Engineering bay upgrades, stim, combat shields. PuMa can't really win in a direct confrontation without his tanks, which are out of position. And Bradoock knows this, of course. He has his supply depots under siege, and he's not going to be able to make units. He has to make some depots, but he has triple orbital just like you were mentioning.
Yeah.
And that economic advantage in just a minute or two will be very hard for PuMa to overcome.
He has the supply lead. He has the base lead. He has the positioning lead. Remember I was saying PuMa has the best position. I was really focusing on that, saying that that's what's giving him such an insurmountable lead. But Bradoock just said, no, you don't have a position lead anymore. I'm going to evacuate everything and make sure that you have no position advantage on me anymore. And this is why we have, Bradoock needs to be careful. He's trying to do a little bit of damage over here. Now PuMa is taking the bottom right-hand position, the natural.
Oh, he's going to scout the factory,
oh my
though.
god, look at these. Look at these siege tanks all the way on the left-hand side.
Oh, they're not protected. Wow.
Wow.
They are nestled so snug by these destructible debris. And Bradoock, he's going to drop straight onto it and try to see if he can take out some of these tanks, but a little ill-advised as Bradoock will relocate. In the meantime, he is still getting a huge amount of Marines and medevacs, realizing his advantage is very large at this point. And every tank that Bradoock snipes is very significant. He takes out both at the same time. And the Banshee, PuMa has been a little bit careless with many of his Banshees, barely managed to survive.
Oh, man. And the Marines are going to be able to take out these 2 siege tanks, a critical blow to PuMa's army. PuMa's just trying to congregate all of his units together and make sure that he can actually attack with one single punch. But he just can't do that. His fingers are all over the place, and he's just trying to, slap with 3 fingers. It's not that effective.
No, slapping is always less effective than punching.
Especially when you're doing with three fingers, man.
Unless it's like Jigglypuff versus Captain Falcon, I lose every time against Ben. He does the same move with Jigglypuff every time. He just rolls, and it just knocks me off. But we do see PuMa is running out of options. He's down 20 supply. His tank count keeps dipping, and his Banshees have been dropping like flies to the swatter of Bradoock, as we do see a huge production advantage. Bradoock at this point, 43 SCVs to 25, 3 based 2, or barely 2, as we see our Russian Terran getting a larger advantage. Wow.
I have to say, this game has probably some of the best decision-making I've ever seen before in a single TVT. It's just amazing the movement Bradoock has been able to do. Consistently just getting ahead of his opponent, even in terrible positions, making these split decisions to get him back into the game or keep him alive in the game. Just his crisis management is out of this world, and it's a real testament to his ability and his gameplay. I'm just so impressed with Bradoock right now.
Bradoock proving, at least for a moment, why he doesn't necessarily belong in the bottom of the division just yet. He's making a huge stand against PuMa, but we've seen PuMa make some pretty crazy pushes and defenses before. Bradoock gearing for a huge attack. He's trying to lift into the natural and drop directly on the tank, and while during that distraction, he's pushing to the natural, splitting his Marines Thorsday style. Bradoock, will this be the moment where he defeats PuMa and ties up the series, as PuMa moving down the ramp with his Banshees, but we see a preemptive scan from Bradoock trying to see if he can catch the Banshees, as we do see Bradoock is pushed back for now, but PuMa lost a lot of supply trying to defend this.
Yes, the 3 Banshees will do a ton of damage. Another scan goes down. He won't be able to pick any of them off. The Marine count is thinning out, And I think with good positioning, PuMa should be able to fend this off pretty nicely, but +2 attack is underway. And yeah, there it is. He picks all of those units out. But as I was saying, the upgrade advantage still goes to Bradoock. Behind this, he's getting his +2 attack, +2 armor, and he's rallying up another round of units to just thwart any efforts of PuMa getting back into this game. I cannot believe I just said that. PuMa getting back into the game.
Yeah, and PuMa is... He's just not looking very sharp. He has no options to harass whatsoever. Oh, man, one tank getting pushed down here. Second tank also might drop in. The Banshees also under hot pursuit. We see the Marines from Bradoock frantically want to just end this game right here.
Frodan.
And Bradoock is going to push in here. Rest uncontested. No real micro from PuMa yet. And we see there it is.
GG, ladies and gentlemen, Bradoock. He's going to come back from one of the sickest games in the world. My God, I cannot believe that just happened. That has to be one of the top games I've ever seen before in StarCraft 2. Bradoock performing such amazing decision-making skills in this game, floating over, relocating his main when he knows his opponent's biggest advantage is the position. He's just saying, you need to relocate all your army. I have an advantage with all my Marines, +1/1, stim, combat shields, the works. Those are 4 upgrades that if you don't have and your opponent does, you're dead. Yep. You're absolutely dead.
And Bradoock was doing the best with the scenario, saying, instead of trying to catch up where my opponent is excelling, positioning, and strength in battles with siege tanks, he was like, I'm going to use what I can't do. He couldn't produce because his production was under siege, so he started a new command center saying, I'm going to reposition, get 3 bases while my opponent's transition to his second base, and ride my macro advantage. You can see Bradoock, with upgrade advantage on his Marines, was able to tactfully engage PuMa in every good position from there, win the game.
And let me make this really clear. When he moved, he didn't have an economic advantage. He didn't have an army advantage. He actually flipped it and took a position advantage on his opponent. Now, all of a sudden, PuMa's units are really out of place. It's very awkward to have these units halfway across the map, or actually completely across the map, and then his defense at home. And as you can see, I mean, it was just continuous great movement of Bradoock. He was able to just split the map, make sure that the reinforcements could never go home, and PuMa's working with half his army the entire game.
Yeah, and you can see PuMa losing the Banshees. You could see Bradoock cleaning up the reinforcements. Also, the tanks at the top left, the Marines in the top left, that was trying to clean up the remainders of Braddock's original main base. Great poise and composure from our Russian Terran. His job isn't done yet. The series is just tied. Thank you so much to the sponsor of that game, Azo, for providing the monitors for NASL Season 3. Guys, we'll find out who will take this series, and actually, whether or not Bradoock's able to take the first series in NASL Season 3, or will PuMa finally drop PuMa, the Season 1 and Season 2 champion? Find out after this commercial.